Welcome to Vision Profiles, the podcast for dedicated Apple Vision Pro users. This week, Apple makes its biggest Vision Pro era staffing move yet, cutting more than 200 jobs across Vision Pro in the gaming and immersive video functions of Vision Pro. Siri also gets its own little cuts too, so the 200 was kind of split between two from what I can tell. And we'll have more insight into those articles with our group. Other things like Gizmodo saying, hey, Apple is not done with the Vision Pro headset. And Pico has got a new Vision Pro rival that is locked in for a September reveal, but not much more details than that I can tell about this Vision Pro killer that Pico is doing. And some other great stories pulled together by Dave and Eric and myself for tonight's episode of Vision Profiles. I'm Marty Gensius, an associate professor at Kent State University, a podcaster and longtime Apple enthusiast.
I'm Eric Bolden. I work in IT, but my passion is finding creative ways to share content. Currently, photography of plants, birds, panoramic sequences, and bugs.
And bugs.
I'm Dave Ginsburg, host of the In Touch with iOS podcast, IT professional and iPhone subject matter expert. I'm continually discovering the new ways the Apple Vision Pro is shaping the future of computing.
And you can follow the YouTube live stream here on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And that, will keep you up to date with all the chatter that's going in the chat room. And we'd love to have you joining us live. Just go to youtube.com/@visionprofiles on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can catch the video later if you miss us live on YouTube and the audio on any podcatcher service. So anything new in your week, folks? Anything going on with y'all?
Technology-wise?
Yeah.
Projects at work, which I'm not going to discuss, but...
Yeah, sure. I tried to refit my office with two monitors, even though I have a Vision Pro a MacBook Neo, and I can only use one monitor. I've got two in there for when I bring in my MacBook Pro and want to use it. So I'm still trying to get the thing set up properly so all the bells and whistles work. First day of classes today, I spent 7 hours there, which, poor me, I had to go to work for 7 hours. But it was all the other stuff that goes in with it in terms of class prep, the new system that we have for classroom management, questions from students. But I wound up teaching for about 6 of those 7 hours, 7.5 hours, and my voice is showing it tonight. So if I sound a little hoarse, that's what Monday nights are going to be like for a while, I think. But during teaching, I'm texting Eric, and Eric's responding, and Dave's on the thread too. Hey, is there a new beta by any chance? And sure enough, there's a new beta. Eric, have you loaded it?
Mm-hmm. That's why I was slow to respond, because, my Vision Pro was rebooting, then the iPad rebooted, and the Mac reboot, and phone everything was rebooting today. But
so we have Buddhas. We have Buddhas. I was going to say we have betas all over the place today.
Buddhas everywhere.
Buddhas everywhere.
I just kicked it off on the Vision Pro. So.
Yeah. So, Eric, did you pay attention?
I just kicked it off on my
size?
Vision Pro. So,
yeah. What was the size? Did you pay attention to it?
And I didn't because I'm glad you saw it.
9 gigabytes.
9.8, almost 10 gigabytes.
Wow. The last one was like 700 megabytes. But size doesn't matter. That's what I've heard all my life. Not for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh boy.
So yeah, it surprises me it was that large in terms of, and yeah, I've heard that all my life too. Eric's doing a spit take. You got to be on the video to see that.
Ah,
I don't know where this is coming from. Maybe it's just I'm tired and my mind is kind of
He-
free floating.
You're slap happy.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, anyways, I did some running when I got home to try and find out differences between the Beta 6 and what the Beta 7 brings. And only three things actually changed. And it's the same kind of change. A known issue from Beta 6 gets fixed in Beta 7. And those three areas were apps could crash on data heavy items is now fixed. In Beta 7, certain built-in apps, shortcuts, the kind that let the SAI or shortcuts interact, those kind of things with notes and photos, had a hidden ceiling that they didn't know about, but they found it and fixed it. And we should not be seeing those kinds of things because Beta 7 patches that. The second thing, enterprise device setup was failing. It's now fixed. IT departments that use Apple device management tools to remotely configure or enroll a fleet of Vision Pros. A fleet of Vision Pros. Wow. And they're all in the Strait of Hormuz, the fleet of Vision Pros. We're hitting a wall. New security certificates wouldn't issue. New device enrollments failed outright. That's fixed in Beta 7. Not something any home user would be too interested in, but enterprise users might be. And schools. I think if they have a fleet of them at schools, hospitals, or companies, they would be interested in knowing that's fixed in Beta 7. And then finally, an App Store test purchase quirk is now fixed. This is one developer's testing plumbing, where developers tested a free trial style offer in their sandbox environment. The system was slow to reset the trial offer between tests. That's now fixed in Beta 7. Purely a developer issue, tools issue, and again, not impacting general users. The general takeaway is Beta 7 isn't adding anything new to the about talk or talk about features. We knew that this is where we're getting to the final version, hopefully, and we'll see. Dave, do you have any comments, particularly anything with the Enterprise? And I'm talking about not Star Trek, but
This is the Starship Enterprise. No, I don't think. I mean, I don't work with Vision Pros when it comes to Enterprise, but as far as that goes, that makes sense. I could see there be a bug, especially when you're doing the deployment tools that are out there that are used. They're Apple's deployment tools. But yeah, there's not much I can comment on since I don't do that.
yeah. Okay, then let's go on to the big story of the week. When I got up this morning and started putting show notes together, and you all helped along, I went in to look at the feed, and I think I had about 100, because I limit the feed now and try and kick out some of the stuff that I know is coming from Relay or, in Japanese or foreign language feeds that come through. And I think I had 24 hours ago, if we just went that far, there were like 80 articles. If we went a week back, there was like 97 articles that were available just through the feed. And if you look at what was being, everybody was talking about, it was article after article after article saying the same thing about Apple cuts 200 plus jobs, and across various groups, the Vision Pro and the Siri team. And we've got this in 9 to 5 Mac. We've also got it in MacRumors, had another article on it. Apple guts Vision Pro gaming and immersive video teams, trims Siri staff. So, yeah, they got one, but they trim the other. And then Apple cuts MacDailyNews. Apple cuts over 200 jobs in Vision Pro gaming, immersive video, Siri teams amid pivotal AI and new devices. So also Apple's latest layoffs extend past the Vision Pro development teams. As we mentioned, it goes also into Siri. That's in AppleInsider. And boy, Apple reportedly shifts focus to AI and smart glasses with job cuts in Siri and Vision Pro teams. This comes from Stocktwits. I don't think I've ever covered an article from Stocktwits, but when that shows up in the feed, and this takes a little bit of a pricing or a stock look at it. So it's an interesting article in that sense. But when that comes up, you wanna check out what Stocktwits has to say about Apple Vision Pro. And then I think, this is the last article, and it is despite flopping hard twice, Apple may not be done with Vision Pro yet. So they're still talking about Apple Vision Pro having the same problems. It needs to be way, way cheaper. And if you get something that's way, way cheaper, you will not be getting a Vision Pro. You'll be getting reality augmented glasses. So yeah. Anyways, that's the big story. Any general comments?
Apple is doomed.
Yeah, we knew that. They're doomed. They're making money hand over fist, so they must be doomed. Eric, did you have something?
So there's a couple of things. One, Apple isn't the only one that can create an immersive video now. There are other examples, BBC and a bunch of independent projects, even some apps that are distributing them. How you get the immersive video to users is a little bit more complicated, but the ability exists, the technology exists. Changing how stadiums are shooting teams, they're working on that. So I don't think that the team had to be kept. It'd be nice if they still had them, but I kind of understand it. If they truly are refocusing on glasses, the places where they've cut back are areas where the glasses aren't going to be able to benefit from that material. So there are going to be a couple of years where we'll find out what can you do if you're not watching something immersively, and are you happy with it? And I'm glad I've got the Vision Pro, and everyone else is too. And the fact that they're likely to come out with an upgraded version of it. There are some mentions of new technologies to make it less expensive and not have quite so many processors. That's fine. You do the glasses for a little bit, add that technology, come back later when it's easier to get chips and easier to get memory, and everybody else has had time to produce content and bring it back.
Yeah. Dave, anything else?
No, I think Eric covered it. That was good coverage.
I kind of think Apple wanted to get out of the content creation and kind of let it turn it over to other people to do the content creation, because that's timely, that's expensive, that is labor intensive in terms of doing it, and people were already starting to create content. So I don't think Apple wanted to necessarily be seen as the person that had the expectation or the group that had the expectation they had to come out with new content every month that was immersive, that was some form of life or some place that they were shooting that they had chosen to do, versus letting the market kind of handle that. And as Eric said, there have been some places where people are dropping spatial videos and you can get your content through them. And actually many of them are also subscriptions. So there's money that exchanges in that, versus Apple just kind of ponying up content for free, because that obligation is now being filled by other people in terms of the work. I'm not too terribly surprised about this. The other part of it was the gaming, and I don't think what the role of those folks in gaming, I don't think was to produce games for Apple Vision Pro, because I haven't seen anything come out of Apple that is Apple Vision Pro gaming, but it was to manage games that were part of the ecosystem that people had made that also then play on Apple Vision Pro or play exclusively on Apple Vision Pro. They may not need that size of an audience or size of a tech to be able to handle that. So they talk about 200 jobs. They always lead with Vision Pro, but at least half of those jobs, at least on the first read and the first reports, were coming out of the Siri division and related to Siri. And that product has changed and is now on a new platform. And it doesn't really surprise me that there were layoffs there. So the other part they don't talk about in the article, but I saw in some with early releases, was that Apple wasn't abandoning these people. They were opening up jobs in other parts of Apple where they might be able to apply and continue to work there in maybe more appropriate ways than what they could do at this point with Vision Pro, since Vision Pro is changing and glasses is changing, maybe changing the device in a way that they weren't going to be well utilized there in that place. But it's not like Apple just dropped them, and it's not necessarily a signal that it's dead. That's my take on it. And this is just staff shifting around in some ways, or being let go with a nice parachute. So yeah, I was sad for me to see the only thing people had to talk about this week was these layoffs and their assumption about how what it means in the long run for the product. And I don't think it's a fair assumption, considering some of the counter stuff that's come out with Bloomberg and coming straight from the new CEO's mouth in terms of continuing to work on it. So, and that's probably why my voice is hoarse. Anything else to add? Any reaction to that?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is if you have a content provider that you like, then now is a good time to maybe subscribe for a bit or buy some content or buy a game, support them.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. And I subscribed to a few of them and then never went in, forgot that I was subscribed and never went back to check the app. So if you subscribe, remember that's something that you're paying for already. So outside of that, that was the big story. It really surprised me. It made me putting together show notes a little bit easier, because that was anything anybody wanted to write about. Because again, it's good clickbait, and it's good, like Dave said, it's a good kind of Apple is doomed, can't you see it kind of thing. There were some other interesting articles. This one, Apple Vision Pro was almost called Reality Pro. A prototype collector known as Kozutami. How come I always get the names to try and pronounce? Surfaced an internal software string rendering Reality Pro Reality OS dev, confirming the headset was called Reality Pro throughout most of its development. Apple did file trademarks for Reality One and Reality Pro through a shell company in August 2022. The operating system was similarly branded Reality OS before it became visionOS. Apple still holds the Reality Pro trademark, so Dave, you can't use it. It is.
Dang it.
Yeah, I know. That was going to be my next project. Was Reality Pro, or Reality Profiles. That's what we'll call it. And so, yeah, and it Huawei apparently holds Vision Pro licensing rights in China through 2031, making Reality Pro a potential fallback name for that market. That's interesting. Arose by
And they
any
paid
other
him.
name. What, Dave?
And they paid the ProView Technology $60 million in 2012.
Wow. Just for being smart enough to come up with the name they wanted.
Oh, that was for the rights of the trademark iPad in China.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right. So what do you want to see on the AVP? This is a Reddit post. What do you want to see on the AVP? What experiences do you want? Games, lifestyle, fitness? Do you own other VR headsets? So a series of questions that this poster did. Vlad, the developer, wanted to know what people were interested in. So Eric, you got comments on this, or do you have ideas of what you'd like to see?
Well, and according to the post, this is coming from someone that was an ex-Apple employee who was working on the Apple Vision Pro team.
Oh.
So feedback might be kind of interesting. There's some hints that maybe if there's enough feedback, a group of them might get together and try something. I think that would be kind of cool. Maybe like a platform like Patreon or something like that. They could put a group together and try and get some funding that way.
So the idea that they create their own cooperative to be able to do some development around things that people are interested in. So
yeah, and it's neat because there are comments then coming back on that where they sort of hint at some of the pushback. Apple doesn't want to be involved in games, but indie developers do.
Yeah.
So maybe they can get together and just become a group of independent developers and sell back into the ecosystem.
I'd really like to see a Five Nights at Freddy's style game. VR works incredibly well for a seated horror experience, and they're largely missing it from Vision Pro. I've got to say, I probably half of what I buy for Vision Pro winds up being games. That is a big, there's a big interest in me to see how those things work. So it's an interesting post.
And there seems to be a lot of feedback on trying to save screen real estate in productivity apps.
Yeah.
So window management of some sort, or how to move stuff around. So it's an interesting post, and the comments are interesting. So we'll see what comes out of that.
So this is a couple of articles here on the Pico, which we can talk about a bit here. This one comes out of Road to VR, and augmented reality is also the other. I'm sorry, it's a Reddit post, augmented reality comments. The headset is officially known as Pico Space Pro, codename Project Swan. Jeez, what do they come up with these? I was watching Oppenheimer last night, and so they're getting code names. They should walk around with little buttons with like K7 on it or K4. This headset is officially named Pico Space Pro, scheduled for dedicated reveal event in Beijing for September 2nd, 2026. Pricing and availability to be announced there. Specs on paper look generally competitive. Micro OLED displays at 4,000 pixels per inch, roughly matching Vision Pro's density. Approximately 40 pixel per degree, and a dual chip architecture with custom XR silicon delivering 12 milliseconds perception latency. The second chip offers more 2 by CPU and GPU performance versus XRS Gen 2. A significant jump if the benchmarks hold, and that's in the real use. Apple scaling back its own Vision Pro ambitions, kind of in the short term right now, and Pico Space arrives with at an interesting moment in the landscape. And is there going to be a premium spatial computing market for someone else to own? I don't know. I am now really curious what happens on September 7th and what the device really looks like. It's similar to when I got interested in the Galaxy XR, and then I watched the reveal on that with Google, and it was fun. It was fun to see what was possible there. But we will report whatever shows up September 2nd from Beijing in terms of information. Of course, how the hell are you going to get one is the biggest. Are we looking for the Pico stores in
Yeah.
the Pico Genius Bar, but it's interesting nonetheless. There's nothing more we like to talk about than Apple Vision Pro surgeries. And apparently there's been a new one or another one. And for the life of me, I think we talked about this at one point. I thought they were doing cataract surgeries because we were kind of kidding Dave about it. Are you going to get yours done with an Apple Vision Pro? Apple Vision Pro as the intended primary intraoperative visualization platform for complete cataract surgery, a prospectus single center feasibility study. So there is a link to that study. And here it is in PubMed. And it talks about the purpose was to evaluate the feasibility and early safety observations of the Apple Vision Pro as an intended primary intraoperative visualization platform during cataract surgery. 44 of 45 procedures were completed using the Apple Vision Pro without device-related conversion. One procedure required conversion to backup visualization after transient image interruption received as image freezing. No patient harm or surgical complication occurred. So there we go, fellas.
So this is the second study.
Yeah, the first study was the San Diego one with tear ducts, where they were doing laparoscopic surgery with using Vision Pro in terms of the screens for the laparoscope that was going in your tear duct. So yeah, this is the second one that's come up.
And it was well liked by the surgeons as well.
Yeah.
So that's a good sign.
Earlier this year, Vision Pro was used in the world first cataract surgery assist. The drumbeat of medical adoption stories is becoming more interesting as it happens and with more different things. So very cool. Eric or Dave, can you talk about Astronema? It's a new environment.
They did a really nice job with this, and I didn't get sick. So you can choose. There's like 5 or 6 different places, uh, you know, underneath you on Earth and then you pick the time of day. So sunrise, sunset, middle of the day, different lightings and so on. Really, really crisp imagery, nice contrast.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like floating under the space station. You can read, like there's a bunch of tubing that's got Canada printed on it, so you can kind of look at all the different parts. Yeah, they did a really nice job with this one. And the app that launches this has got some other stuff as well. The developer's done a couple other projects, so this is well worth looking at.
It's free with in-app purchases. My guess the in-app purchases is either a subscription or...
No, it's very confusing. Take a look.
Yeah, you're right. You can get Sputnik 1 for $4.99. You can do a coffee tip for $4.99. Hubble Volume 1, $3.99. A beer tip for $9.99. Terra 2, Terra 3, both $3.99. A cocktail tip for $14.99. Do the tips get you any of these other kind of in-app things? Like if you do a coffee tip, do you get a Sputnik on the side?
No, I think that's just if you really enjoy it a lot and you've been watching it for a couple of weeks, then throw in a couple extra bucks. But you at least get to see some of the content right away.
Yeah.
And there's some that's behind a paywall, but
yeah, and I am not against tipping for folks for the work that they do. I'm kind of a big fan of paying developers and giving them those kind of things. Now, this is a little different. This is panoramas, and while I was paying attention to my class and checking my email at the same time, I saw that some stuff came up with panoramas. So we might want to give that a good look at. Sharing panoramas created high-resolution AI for custom environments based on my tastes. And I can't get this enlarged.
I think there's a Google Drive that has a bunch of them.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. There's a bunch of PNG files.
So you can download them, and then when you download them, you can use them as environments or backgrounds or whatever.
Yeah.
You might be able to do it on Mac or other devices, I would think.
Yeah, you should be able to see it on anything, but on the Vision Pro, you can kind of really sink into it as a background. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then some interesting stuff in here. This led me to think, are there subreddits dedicated to panoramas? And lo and behold, there are some links in there for subreddits. Yeah, and some other suggestions. I did see that I did open up the Google Drive link and saw all the listing of stuff, but I didn't download them at the time or take a look at them, but they look really pretty.
I just downloaded one of them. They look pretty good.
Yeah, it's a little like the interior ones that are these really posh kind of looking houses with lots of glass. It's sort of like, who cleans the glass? You're in the middle of the forest. That glass has got to get dirty. So yeah.
Which is why you use it in the Vision Pro, because it is never dirty. It's just as clean as the first day you set it up as a background.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad because there's nobody sitting in the house. It's just, nobody's filling up the chairs in this. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. And then we've got 2 more. My idea is Reddit should launch a native Vision Pro app that lets us share spatial memories. That's interesting. I'd love to see Reddit create a genuine native Apple Vision Pro app that rather than relying on the iPad compatibility version. This should be a real Vision Pro app, not simply a stretched iPad interface. Reddit could become one of the best social platforms for spatial media if it supports the format early and gives communities the tools it needs to use it properly. We had some really good apps on Reddit that would run Reddit, and then they kicked the guy off for making a Reddit viewer with it. And he went on to do some other work. I forget who the guy's name was, but he went on to do some other work and then just kind of quietly said, I'm getting out. From what I could tell, I'm getting out of here. And he hasn't surfaced again. But I don't think Reddit has any. I would love this because I'm a heavy Reddit reader. And it would give me another platform to be able to do that on. But I don't think Reddit's in any rush to get a Vision Pro app and how that is functional. And frankly, the app that they have, which I occasionally go in through web to read when I'm sitting here at my desktop, is horrible. It's just horrible. And yeah, I don't get it. Any other reactions to this, guys?
No, you're seeing a lot of platforms like this just not ready to do a dedicated Vision Pro app, visionOS app, because the same thing with any of these apps. I'll just use the iPad version, and it's not the same experience, but it works. But but there are, and then we have apps that are visionOS only, so.
Yeah. Eric, I need some, and or Dave, I need some help on this. Can I load iPad apps on my Vision Pro?
Yes.
If they're not, but what if they're not in the Vision Pro App Store?
Well, they should be, because they pick up as iPad apps.
Yeah, the developer can make it so that their iPad apps are not allowed to open on the Vision Pro.
Right. They could turn that off.
In that case, there's not anything you can do about it. But in every other case, you should be able to just download it.
Yep.
Yeah. Because we have a mutual friend who's created one, and when I go to look at it, I see no Vision Pro emblem on it, and when I search for it in the Vision Pro store, it doesn't seem to come up.
Is that person who I'm thinking it is?
Yeah. And as part of that, I wonder if there's something that needs to be switched on by the developer, because their reaction was to say, well, it's an iPad app. iPad apps play in Vision Pro. Yeah, but if I can't find it, it doesn't do me any good. And I did a test pilot with it. And test pilot might be different because I'm going into test pilot and pulling it in. But now that it's out of test pilot, it's not showing up in a search on Vision Pro. And I suspect it's only there if they have set the designator so it gets a little icon in the store, and they don't have that.
Simple email to the developer just to check to see is probably what I would do. I'll even do
it. Otherwise open it up in the store on an iPad and then copy the link for the app directly, and send that to your Vision Pro and see if you can get it to just download it.
Yeah, the assumption is that from the developer is I didn't think I needed to do that, or I don't need to do that. It's an iPad app. Just open it up.
I mean, if it's been around for too long, like it hasn't been updated recently, that will block it too.
Yeah,
I don't know
no.
how old the app
No,
is.
this is
It's recent.
like a couple of weeks old
this
before it got
doesn't.
released in the
Does this
Apple
have to
Store.
be a secret? I don't understand.
Well, I'm just.
Send
I
me
had
the
that.
link again, and I'll take a peek.
I
I'll
had
give
that
it a try.
question, and so I wanted you guys to make sure that I wasn't going nuts because I have said to the developer, no, there's something else you got to do to make it
Oh,
show up in the
yeah,
Apple
there's a button.
Store, or there's
We
something
have a
that turns
we
on
have
that little
we have a
ghosty
comment.
headset. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
this is immersive. This comes from immersive. There is a button that you have to check, or when uploading your app to the App Store, it's kind of hidden. It asks to make this app available for Vision Pro. Thank you very
there it
much for
is.
that.
There you go. I bet she didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and Craig from earlier, that kind of discussion on Reddit. Reddit booted off several iOS clients a few years ago and then didn't replace it with anything good. I mean, their app is fine, but it's not like it's taking away from their views going
Right.
through a different app, but they wanted to have that data for them. So thanks for those comments, both immersive video enthusiasts and Craig, for those comments. Last thing we've got is future of Vision Pro could use out of phase imaging processing to reduce latency and battery demands. This was sent to me in our thread, or I know I didn't contribute it.
Yeah. So
What's
the
going on with
idea
this?
is, instead of having a full set of hardware for processing, getting the images and processing it and displaying it for both eyes, you can reduce that by having processing done but in one spot and then just alternate between the eyes. So, one eye captures data, sends it to get processed. I mean, one camera processes data, send it to get processed, start sending it to the display, and then while that's happening, the second eye then, out of phase of the first one, can send its camera data to process to get sent to the other display. So you have less hardware, hopefully less power use, because you don't have two chips doing processing in parallel. They alternate.
That sounds like a recipe for a headache. Is it happening so fast that my brain
It
would
should be
not detect?
fast. Yeah, it should be fast enough you wouldn't get a flicker and you wouldn't have a problem. Remember on TVs they used to have scan lines?
Yeah.
And you get like every other, and people can watch TV without it. And now I don't think it's going to be as bad as scan lines, but the idea is that you would start doing some work, send it to the display, start doing work on the other one, send it to the display, and then just alternate and keep moving back and forth. And as long as it's happening at twice the rate as the frame rate of the video going to the display, you're fine.
Yeah, and when it didn't work right, Dad would throw the remote at the television and curse.
Or somebody would have to stand next to the television with a coat hanger, bent and angled to bring in better signal. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, no, that was just me. But
No, and
the
then
old
the
days.
UHF dial that you would have to turn, you'd have to kind of like, it was really kind of between clicks, but you'd kind of push it in one direction and it would solve the problem.
Yeah.
Boy, that brings back fun times.
No, you had to put aluminum foil on. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the end result is potentially a significantly lower component cost for future Vision Pro with slightly less weight.
I shouldn't kid my family about those kind of bizarre things they did to get TV reception. As far as my dad was concerned, this was like engineering. He was a mechanical engineer, so it's engineering. And I remember even taking the coat hanger wire and bending it, but because it was coated in lacquer, taking like a Brillo pad to scrub the lacquer off.
Scrub that off.
Somehow
Yeah.
help with the aluminum foil connection being a better, wow. Yeah. That's it for tonight. That's all we've got in terms of articles and potential apps for you to look at. Wow. Hopefully Apple will still be around next week and Vision Pro will still be there, given the doom and gloom. But let's go ahead and find out where we can find these folks. Eric?
I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mas.to. Sunday nights on the Neo Notebook. Mondays, of course, here on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live. And rounding out the week nicely with In Touch with iOS.
Cool. David?
You can find me on intouchwithios.com. That's my website for the podcast, and youtube.com/intouchwithios for our live streaming and videos. You'll find me on Neo Notebook on Sundays, here on Vision Profiles Mondays. Tuesday nights, we're back on Mac Voices Live. Record In Touch with iOS on Thursdays, and then the Tech Hangout, when I'm available, on Fridays, as well as social media, is at Dave Ginsburg on both Mastodon and Blue Sky.
Yeah, I had a student request, someone who's co-teaching with me this class, say today, hey, we should meet like every other week at least, maybe not every week, but how about Friday mornings? And I kind of said, no, I'm sorry. I know it's my job, but it's the Tech Hangout. So I'm kind of, we do have a dean's meeting beforehand, then I come home, then I Tech Hangout with Dave and Ben and Patrice and Jeff and whoever else can join, which is a lot of fun. I'm on the same place as these folks have talked about. I'm glad to have them and be part of the group with them on all these places. You can find out different projects that I do at thepodtalk.net. I've got a few shows. I've got a 15-minute bite that I need to get out. I've got a Gear Up and Go that I did with my son this weekend that I need to produce and get out. It's just everything has fallen in the last couple of days. And then this morning, I did a Fade to Chat with Cindy on The Thin Man. And we did a review on The Thin Man. I'll be doing a one scene, which is 10 minutes on the psychology of The Thin Man. And particularly, we're going to talk about the relationship, the marriage between Nick and Nora in the Thin Man series. And next week, we will be doing an episode on the Wizard of Oz. So we're going to we're off to see the Wizard. And Cindy was inspired.
Don't pay attention to that man behind the curtain.
Yeah. Yes. Cindy was inspired because she went out and saw it in the Eye. She was out in Vegas and went and saw
the Sphere.
The Wizard of Oz, which is the Sphere or whatever you call it. Yeah. And so she's like, let's do the Wizard of Oz. So we're going to do that next week.
Guess they're still showing it there.
Yeah. So thanks to Immersive Video Enthusiasts for joining us. Great to have you here. And one of the first times I think I've seen them in the chat room. We have Craig Allenbach, who's been kind of a regular. We've also had Bobcat News, Boca Raton High show up in the chat room and say hi to everybody. So that's very cool. So thank you, folks, for joining the group tonight and being along with us. That's pretty much it for the show. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe, leave a review, send us an email at the podtalknetwork@gmail.com. And just kind of keep up with us and see what's going on with Vision Pro as we cover the week's news and the latest releases that happen on the show every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/@visionprofiles. You can grab the audio version, whatever podcast you listen to. And until next week, keep your Vision Pro charged and your spatial curiosity sharp.